Hi, I'm Sydney, and today we're going to be learning about angles, parallel lines, and transversals. So let's say I have line segment CD and another line segment EF. Both of these lines go on forever and are on the same plane. In this case, the plane is the screen. If you look and see, these lines never intersect. This is because if you think about it like a graph, they have the same slope but different y-intercepts. These pair of lines are called parallel because they never intersect and they are on the same plane. We can write their parallel by saying line segment CD is parallel, this is a sign for a parallel, to line segment EF. Now we're going to say there's a line that intersects these parallel lines. This is a transversal and we'll label this L. A transversal is a line that intersects at least two other lines. So if we go back to our example, I'm now going to explain to you guys interior and exterior angles. So these are exterior angles because they are outside of the parallel lines. These angles here are interior angles because they are inside of the parallel lines. Keeping this in mind, know that all alternate exterior angles are congruent and all alternate interior angles are congruent. So in this case, this angle is congruent to this angle because there are alternating angles on the outside of the parallel lines, and we call this again alternate exterior angles. Now this angle right here is congruent to this angle because there are interior angles inside of the parallel lines that are alternating. And again, we call this alternate interior angles. Vertical and corresponding angles are also congruent. Let me give you another example, this time explaining vertical and corresponding angles. So if we start with angle D, angle A is congruent because they are vertical angles. And this is because they are vertical to each other. We can then write angle D is congruent to angle A. Now, if we had angle F, its congruent angle would be angle G because they are vertical. Now, just by looking, we can see that angle A is congruent to angle E. They are obviously not vertical angles because they are not vertical to each other, and they're not alternate exterior or interior angles. Instead, they are called corresponding angles. So, angle H would be corresponding to angle D. They are corresponding because they are correspondent or essentially matching on the plane. Now I'm going to give you another example, and this time we're going to work through finding alternate interior and exterior angles, vertical angles, and corresponding angles. So now, angle L, we're looking at angle L here, and angle S are one example of alternate exterior angles because they are alternating angles located on the exterior region of the parallel lines. Angle O and angle P are examples of alternate interior angles. An example of vertical angles can be angle M and angle N because they are vertical to each other. And then an example of corresponding angles can be angle L and angle Q. So if I move the transversal, I'll give you guys a mini example right here. So if we're imagining that this is the same as this, just a miniature version, we can move the transversal, but still all the alternate exterior angles, all the alternate interior angles, and all the vertical angles and corresponding angles are all still going to be congruent. No matter where the transversal is, it's always going to be congruent no matter what angle it makes. So even if different angles are made, there is still congruent. So I'm going to give you guys one last example, this time using numbers. So let's say I have one angle that's 91 degrees and another angle that's 89 degrees. So learning what we have learned, we can say that this angle is 89 degrees right here because it is vertical to this angle. And then if we take the alternate interior angle of this angle, it would be right here. So we know this is 89 degrees again. And then we can also say that 91 would be, the vertical angle would be right here. And the alternate interior angle of this would be over here, which would be 91 again. And then if we took the alternate exterior angle, it would be right here. And then if we took the alternate exterior angle of 89 right here, it would be right here. And 89 is also the vertical angle to 89 right here. And it can also be the corresponding angle to 89 over here. There are multiple possibilities of finding angles that are congruent. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you all successfully learned about angles, parallel lines, and transversals.